What is going on, everybody? Or wait, let me see. YouTube's being a little weird right now. Let some people come on in. Also message the Discord. There we go. Yeah, I'll just let a few people join on in. I am working on a shot right now and I kind of want to finish it. Caught me lacking. Hope everybody is doing well on this nice Saturday, nice relaxing day of the week. Welcome everybody, Abstract, Storm, All About Disney, Tanvir, welcome to stream. Big Fran also trying to make some good tutorial. Interesting, you trying to do some tutorials, super sick. Disney, hello, I'm from Blender 2.79, mad, making a VFX shot. 2.79, why are you doing that to yourselves? Why are you that far behind? I remember the old UI challenges and stuff, so very good luck there. Tanvir, good to see you again, catching all the streams. I'm doing amazing. How about yourself? We are gonna let some more people come on, so it might be like 10 or so minutes before we get into the main content. I'm working on this shot in the meantime, just so you guys can see and have some content while we wait. But we're going to be reviewing some VFX, and so if you do want to get in, we do have a couple already up in the queue today, and so we have all of these. But if you are on the stream and want to see yours as well, I also have on my Discord, again, that is to go ahead and join down in the description of this live stream. You can go to this upcoming events section, and if you go to rating VFX 5, I have a Google Drive link where you can paste your things into. So yeah, I'd love to see your guys' content. Again, we have a lot to get through today, so can't guarantee that I will get some of the new people's submissions since we have all of this stuff to get through today. But, you know, you never know. If you stick around long enough, we might do it at the end. Who knows? But we shall see. We're going to have a ton of fun today. I'm just doing some color correction for this shot right now. Kind of a little, like, interesting, I don't even know what you'd call it, like a dystopian kind of shot. Think of, like, my inspiration was, what's that game called? Shoot. Death Stranding, you know, with kind of like the floating things and everything. That was pretty cool. Let's color this. Karen, welcome to the stream. How are you still up? Didn't you say it was like gonna be like 2 a.m. for you? Dark Storm just joined the Discord. What is going on? Thank you so much. I make mostly tutorial on Manaflow and product advertisement. Interesting. Chewy, welcome to stream, and Artista, welcome to stream. Good day. Are you Australian by chance? Oh, but yeah, we're gonna let a few more people join. Again, if you guys want to join the little rating your VFX, you can join our Discord in the description of this live stream. There you'll find upcoming events, and that will be for this stream. So go and submit some of your stuff. Blacks are way too black. Let's see. I'm also in the worst kind of environment for this in the physical world. So we're gonna do some of that, and then we're gonna do, I don't want to mess around with hue. That's some contrast. I don't want to go too much though. Always looking at my scopes down here. Isaac, welcome. Meta MRX, welcome. Sid Hunt, welcome to the stream. So many new people today. Isaac, welcome as well. I think I already said that, but are you the same Isaac from the Discord? So welcome, welcome. You actually done a ground. Looks good. Yeah, ground schmound. Yeah, ooh, that's a little bit too much chromatic aberration. I'll change that later. Again, we're just kind of waiting for some people to hop in on the stream today. I binded a book myself, feeling happy. We'll use it for sketching. Interesting. I know book bindings and stuff are very popular. Are you doing like some art on it and stuff like that? That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, some more like a darker red, you guys think? That'd be kind of sick. Yeah, I don't know what else, too much else to do with this shot. I can maybe add... I always like to test with the glow and stuff, but sometimes it's a little bit too much. You push the gain down. Ah, yeah, kind of works. Elation. Let's do some of that. Just testing. I think I need to decrease the glow a little bit. Yeah, so it's like barely there. Elation, how's that looking? Elation's another thing I don't want to overdo. Where's the size spread? There we go. And then we're gonna do the strength down. There we go. That's I don't like it down here though. Well, increase the spread. Oh, it's already kind of like at max. Decrease the saturation ever so slightly. Yeah, and then decrease that strength. And then I'll just half it. Good rule of thumb is to half it if you're unsure. Mr. Geometrics. Hi there, guys. Big up from Portugal. Welcome, welcome. It's just 1:30 here. Nice. We'll practice characters and perspectives on a really simple to bind. Maybe I will add on Discord how to do it if anyone is interested. Of course. I loved your VFX course on Udemy. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that was a lot of people start on that course, and it's very exciting seeing what everybody creates and stuff like that. So super proud of that course. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. What I'm gonna do with the lighting, maybe. And yeah, I did do a ground abstract. You'd be proud. It's literally super simple. It's I can go in Blender and just show the node tree real quick, and then we'll hop into it in like 2 seconds, guys. So remember, if you want to get your work seen, join the Discord in the description and upload your videos. Can't guarantee that we'll get to everybody today, but as many as I can allow myself. Okay, so what was I gonna show? Yeah, here's what it looks like in Blender. Isn't that crazy, guys? Like I was saying, like compositing and color go a long way. And I wanted it to be like very streaky and stuff. I kind of like that recently. But what was I gonna show you? Oh yeah, the ground. Yeah, so the ground is literally a polyhaven texture. Concrete floor worn O2 if you guys want to look it up. And then I'm not using the roughness. I'm using a texture, a noise texture, and plugging that into the roughness and normal, just to add a little bit of like kind of wetness, you know, because I wanted it to be a little bit more unique, you know, with some of the specular highlights. I knew I wanted a lot of specular highlights, and so that's what I kind of like experiment around with. But not bad. I think it's a kind of cool shot. Might play around a little bit more with color. Decrease the gain just ever so slightly. Yeah, this one's tough to nail. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good though. Giving some color and life in the shot. Super sick. Anyway, I think we are ready to go ahead and get started. You have a course on Udemy and I get to know it today. Exactly. I only have one course on Udemy. Udemy unfortunately has a revenue sharing service of 33%, so I only get 33% of the proceeds, and so I started hosting my own courses elsewhere, and so that was the only course that's on Udemy, but looks good. Thank you, Isaac. I appreciate it. Okay, now for the main event that everybody's been waiting on. We're gonna be doing some rating your visual effects. Of course, see if anybody's submitted to the V5 one yet. Yeah, so we have a couple people on the V5 one. Again, guys, we'll probably get those. If not today, will probably be its next stream. And I notify all my streams on the Discord. So again, you can check the announcement sections when that stream would be going on. But today we're going to prioritize the people who have already submitted. And so let's go ahead and jump into this. Super excited. What's that dope background? It is a, let's see, what's the thing called? Wallpaper engine. It's wallpaper engine. I can even go to it real quick if you want to check it out. It is 4K House Island wallpaper by Kingsman. So super sick. I love it. It's great. Makes me soothes me, you know. So super sick. Why is my camera like super overexposed? What the heck? I hate my camera. I need a better camera. And that's why I have the little donation thing at the bottom or whatever. Mainly that's for my camera, because my camera sucks. So I want to start doing like more like, you know, to where I can switch to full screen. I don't have it set up right now, but yeah, it's where I can switch to the full screen and it not be like trashy quality. I don't even know if it's 1080p, but so let's go ahead and start this. Unfortunately, with the way we do this, I don't know who exactly is each one unless you put your name on it. And so like Matt, I know this is yours and stuff like that. So if you guys want in the future, you can also link your name in the title. That helps me kind of direct my comments, or you could just say, hey, that's fine in the comment. Sweet. So Adventure Time on a sign. Gotta love some Adventure Time. So it looks like we're doing some 2D tracking. Very nice. And I just want you guys to know I have not watched any of these beforehand, so these are my live comments. So first of all, I think the camera tracking is very good. I assume that's all the shot was for, and this is a great idea if you're like wanting to learn anything, is to break down stuff to super simple kind of basics and stuff like that. And so 2D tracking, very good. I don't see it moving. A nice rule of thumb that you can do is, so when you do your 2D camera track, you can throw a stabilize on it, so it stabilizes in the frame, because I think it is wobbling a little bit here now that I see that. But what you have happen when it stabilizes, I can actually go ahead and demonstrate that real quick if I go into Nuke, but you can really do this in any kind of program if you want. But just to kind of showcase what I'm talking about, we'll come bring this bad boy into Nuke. Add a tracker node to it. This is gonna be just quick and dirty, guys. So add a track. We'll just track it. We'll track this little thing. Yeah, just run through that. Yeah, so this is what I do all the time for 2D camera tracking. It doesn't have to be perfect either. So create a stabilized transform node, and then now that it's stabilized, you can really zoom in and kind of see. Yeah, so it's actually pretty good. Again, I think we're losing a little bit on this corner. You know, it's not like perfect there, but this is how I check this stuff. So I think it looks pretty decent. Now, of course, the big thing of this shot, if you wanted it to make it look realistic, is the defocus is not applied to the actual thing. It's applied to the border, which is fine, but it's not applied to the actual footage. And so I think you already know that. I don't think that was the point of this shot. And then also the colors, right? The colors are way too vibrant, way too bright and stuff. The big tell sign of that is just the blackest blacks in this don't match the blackest blacks of the footage. So like down here, this is black, but that's black of the CG. So those two need to match, and vice versa, the white. And so let's see, like white of the mirror, stuff like that should match like some of these highlights and some of the whitest parts of the mirror and stuff. And so those are big things I would say about this shot. I don't really have much more to say. So very nice shot. Learning some 2D tracking. Sick. Balls, let's see. Super cool. Oh, got a little fake zoom in there. Fake unzoom. Gotta love that. Clients love that stuff. Super cool. So it got shadows interacting pretty well. I'm a little confused what that little effect is. I'm sure it's, you know, based on what you wanted to do and stuff. I guess it's trying to be like a pseudo, like glitchy effect, like they're not real. My only thing I don't like about this shot, and this is maybe a little bit more up to taste, is that this is a very kind of like common thing with beginners. They do a ton of freaking glow and stuff like this. You know, I was talking about a little bit about before we even did this. The glow is a little bit too much, you know. The only time you could get like glow like this is if your actual footage has a lot of glow, right? But like I'm staring back here and there's a little bit of glow with the lights back here. I wish I could zoom in. But like it's not a lot at all. It's like maybe like 2 pixels, if that, versus this is like, you know, probably 50 pixels or something like that. So that's kind of big tell. Again, that's like, you know, it's an obviously digital effect, and so that can be a little bit more subjective. The more objective thing that I noticed about this shot is we have like some weird lighting stuff going on back here, right? Like I see a huge white overexposed light or whatever. There's no kind of hint that that's what is up here. Also we have like a plane, and because I've done this a million times, I know it's just a ground plane on the, you know, floor and stuff. It's probably the exact same method that I teach, but I would have liked to have seen like maybe if you took this area back here and then duplicated that, like baked the texture of that and then put it behind the camera, just so that there's more kind of things over here and not just empty black, right? Because this gives off the illusion that it's fake, just because we don't have any kind of reflections in the back rack here. So that's one thing you got to think about, because most people would come to that and think it's a issue to do with the lighting, but no, it's an issue to do with the reflections. Whenever you're making CG, you always got to remember the reflections in the lighting. And so that would be my big note there, is just add some reflections back in the background. Again, this is very subjective, but if you're shooting on an iPhone, I think this motion blur is way too much. This is kind of like DSLR motion blur, versus like iPhone has like 0 motion blur at all. Again, you know, this is where if you want it, that's fine. If you don't want it, that's fine. But just to let you know, if you're doing iPhone footage, it's going to be way much less motion blur. But again, it kind of depends what you want to do. But yeah, no, really cool animation. All that stuff is sick. And yeah, I mean, other than some of the problems with like the reflection stuff I have, super well composited. The blacks and whites match to me. You know, like the blackest level in here matches the blackest level like down there. So amazing job there. And then also the shadows are reading pretty well to me, I think. We don't have much around to like tell what it would be, but like stuff back here is not giving any harsh shadows or anything like that. So I think he did a good job with these shadows on the ground. Really nice job there. And yeah, I think that's basically my notes there. Maybe one more note. I do notice some maybe jagged edges on some of the balls. Yeah, right there and stuff like that. So I just throw a subdivision surface modifier on it and call it a day. You know, you don't want to have any of those kind of small edges right there. And so yeah. Saw this video from another YouTube who made it with a basketball Spalding ball. Interesting. What specs do you have in your PC? I have a 3090 Ti and a 14700K and 32 gigs of DDR5. So that's like a 20 core CPU or stuff like that. So not bad, but like not a beast of a PC. But yeah, no, really nice work. I think that's pretty much it that I would have for you. Again, some subjective stuff. Gosh. But no, I think it's a cool shot. It blends in really well. Compositing's really well done. So that's the biggest thing a lot of people miss sometimes. So here, guys, I'll be right back. I forgot to get some water. Homecoming lights. I will be right back. You better not move. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I need some water. He is getting a 5090. Of course I am. I run my own visual effects business, and so a 3090 Ti to a 5090 would like double my freaking, or I think even triple my output. Gotta stay hydrated. Okay, but yeah, so amazing work for that one. Let's do final. Very nice naming convention. I think I saw this. I'm trying to remember who it was in the Discord. But this super cool effect, because I like how it kind of like starts like a phone and then it transitions. That's very nice. Now I'm actually interested in what you did for that. I wonder if it's just you animated inside of Blender, or if you did some 2D camera tracking and then just did in compositing. Probably be easier to do in Blender. But yeah, super nice effect. Tracking very, very well. This might be another thing where you could stabilize it just to double check, but you know, everything looks super sick there. Yeah, I mean, like other, let's see, got the same mouse as me. Very nice. There are a few kind of like sparkly bits here and there. Like in the middle here. Watch the middle. It's at the beginning. I think it's just denoising. Yeah. Yeah, so I would up the sample count a little bit. Actually, I did a Blender Mythbusters, and in this case, it'd probably be better to do a higher resolution versus upping the sample count. Again, in my opinion, a little bit too strong of a motion blur. You can kind of see the phone right here to gauge, and I think this is just a hair too long, personally. Yeah, because you can see the phone is pretty in focus, but all the CG is like super out of focus. You know, you can kind of see up here, the phone is this out of focus versus the CG is like that out of focus. And so just try to match those a little bit better. Again, when you're shooting with phone, this actually looks pretty good quality. It might not be phone. It might be phone. Who knows? So I think you got to look out for that stuff, because that stuff is like one thing that people expect you to like super match, you know. Can you give ops on my CGI? Yeah, so if you guys want to submit anything, go in the Discord and then go to the upcoming events section. See if I can go to that. So you can upload right here in Rating VFX 5. And Mohammed, if you are still on, you have to go to the Google Drive. I'm not taking any links. I don't want you guys scamming me. Okay, so that is that. Let's see, any other things? Sometimes I can't tell. This one's, it's tough to tell because there is like some glow on it, but there kind of looks like there's glow over here too. Yeah, so this one, I think glow is maybe a little bit too strong, and maybe just dial it back a tiny bit, you know, because we are getting like some banding and stuff here. That might just be due to H.264 compression, but you know, unless there's like a filter on your camera, I'm not a huge fan of this. Again, that's subjective, but compositing wise, I think it really sticks. Blackest matches the blackest blacks. So very good there. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry. Still recovering from a sickness, and you guys making me stream all the time. Not helping, so way to go. I blame everything on you. Oh, okay. Other than that, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Just up your denoising. You know, we're gonna say that a lot today, but guys, you can't unless it's like grain that's getting compressed weird. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that that's it, but I would just check on your own end and see. Also some like weird things every now and again, weird like kind of specular highlights you might want to check out. That's the only other thing, but really nice shot, really nice concept, really good tracking, so really good. 01 Dubai, shout out to Dubai. Any Dubaiers in here right now? It's a very simple kind of like cloth sim. Now this is where you want to scale your scene correctly, because what you're having right now is whoops, you're having the cloth feels like it's like the width of a paper in the way it moves physics wise, versus it's supposed to be like literally like 10 plus stories high. And of course this comes down to like I've done these shots for clients as well, and there's like a you don't want it to be exactly the right physics, because then it takes like literally 10 years for the cloth to fall down. But at the same time, you don't want it this fast, you know, depending on how the client says anything, you know, you have to keep that in mind of like, you don't want the cloth falling this fast. This is a little too fast. I would say if you could like meet somewhere in the middle of how realistic it would be for that size versus like how fast it is right now. In terms of everything else, I think the CG, so obviously all this is CG up here. Camera tracking I think's working decently for me. There's a little bit of sliding I think on this corner. Let's see. Yeah, it's so tiny that honestly I think it's good enough. The bigger issue though is the focus level. Like the focus level does not match where it is in the footage, and unfortunately this is super blurry footage, so it kind of makes sense why you chose that. But if we're trying to be realistic, we got to match it as much as possible, and this is just super defocused, whereas the CG is like super sharp, and so it kind of leads to a little bit of a, you know, balance and stuff. So yeah, but I think execution of the actual compositing, other than the defocus, I think is fine. Lighting matches for me. I think I'd maybe like to see a little bit more of a key over on the left side, you know, coming this way, just because everything else, you know, these domes are actually great because it shows you exactly what your thing would be like. So like if I was doing a shot like this, these domes are godsend, because then I could literally like slap a similar texture onto it. So like I'll just do like an orange texture or something, and literally find either an HRI, do a lighting setup that you like, or you know, do whatever for lighting. You're just trying to mimic this dome look and stuff. And I actually have a lighting tutorial coming here soon of like how I would light a scene for visual effects and everything to look out for. So that is in the works. If you guys want to stay tuned for that, that'll be coming out here soon. It'll show you kind of all the kind of pitfalls of lighting that a lot of artists kind of fall into. But yeah, I think you're doing an all right job. I'd like to see a little bit more of a side light look versus this kind of looks a little evenly lit, you know. It's a little hard to tell from this angle. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The levels are working fine for me. It might be a little like not saturated and not contrasty enough compared to the rest of this footage. It's hard to tell because the footage is so kind of like blurry, and this isn't blurry, you know, so it's like that's throwing me off the most. I feel like I mostly do Clo 3D for cloth physics now and export to Blender. Yeah, I never really messed around with Clo 3D. I know a lot of people have used it, so I definitely got to check that out. Dersage, I always miss, bro, I always like struggle on your name. I feel so bad, but the block blast one was me. Of course, thanks so much for sending it in. Super cool. But yeah, no, I mean, that's all I have for this shot, I think. Super nice shot. Yeah, just cloth physics and lighting is and the blurry of the defocus level, biggest things. Military transport. Very nice. Got some huge, massive tanks. Like these things are crazy massive. This is a road over here, I'm assuming. This is like a tree or whatever. These tanks are probably like 4 or 5 times the size of the actual what they should be. So just keep that in mind. You know, obviously you wanted a shot with tanks in the field, and so you had to scale it up. But just know that like VFX artists will scaling is one of the most important things to match. And so these things are way, way too big. The sub is, I mean, I don't know the dimensions of sub, but I would assume it's not that big either. I mean, that's like, I'm an American, so we use football fields, but it's like 2 football fields long. But anyway, other than that, let's see, light direction is not matching at all. How I know that is if you come over here this little tree is a good kind of tell in the real world, because it's, you know, we kind of know where it is, and you can see the shadows going up and to the left versus your CG is going down and to the right. So you do want to make sure you match that. That is a big thing to watch out for. And again, this is what I'm going to go over for my next tutorial about lighting. Is again, some of these pitfalls that a lot of beginners make, and they wonder why their CGI doesn't match. This is a huge telltale sign. So you always want to find lighting that kind of matches the direction of the shot. Other than that, you know, good quality models. It feels like you're denoising, some weird things are happening over here. It almost looks like a mask issue or something like that, but I'm not sure really what's going on over here. It also looks like there's a lot of like fireflies and stuff, like denoising artifacts on your CG, and so you do want to make sure that you get that out, because it looks very soft compared to the surrounding area, right? Like it just kind of if you don't have a high enough sample count, it'll inherently look a little bit more soft than the surrounding area, and so you just kind of want to make sure that's the case, especially if you look like to the rudders and stuff like that. You can always tell kind of some of the stuff there. But yeah, I don't know what these black things are. I'd be curious to see what they could be, you know, such as like a key of anything, or, you know, it could even be pre-multiplication error or something. If you guys don't know what that is, it basically just means like your alpha channel isn't applied correctly on the CG, and so that can lead to weird stuff. But blue sky, so I think you have a decent HDRI. It looks like we're getting some decent kind of top light, everything like that. But other than that, you know, I think the camera tracking is pretty solid. It's not perfect. You can kind of tell down here it's sliding around a little bit, but you know, for a first shot and stuff like that, that's a really good camera track, especially because it does look like it's a little bit of a curved of a hill. But yeah, what's a submarine doing on the farm? It's my VFX shot. Is one of my first shots made all in Blender. Interesting, Isaac. So if you're, let me ask you, are you doing the compositing in Blender as well? Because if you are, I feel like you need to not do that. I'd highly suggest you either try to use DaVinci or Nuke Non-Commercial. Even though Nuke Non-Commercial, if you're a beginner, might be a little overwhelming. So maybe I would push you towards DaVinci. And if you have the money, After Effects. I think After Effects is user-friendly, but not the best program in my opinion. But yeah, I would say really nice shot to be kind of one of your first ones to do in Blender. Biggest thing I would take away from this is to match lighting direction. Like this is one of the first things I do in any kind of shot, is I try to look for anything else in the shot. And so immediately I kind of saw this little tree down here, and that tells me two things. It tells me kind of time of day, right? How long are the shadows? And also, where's the sun coming from? And so those are kind of the first things that I kind of try to match in a shot like this. I'm doing compositing in Blender I'm learning Nuke right now. Sweet. Yeah, if you learn Nuke, let me tell you, compositing is one of the big things that everybody struggles with, and is one of the biggest things that improves your quality in my opinion. So but yeah, no, I feel like the black and white levels are working pretty well for me. It'd be hard for me to tell unless I like bring this inside of Blender or Nuke myself and see, but like I would see like some of these black levels back here and here, and make sure they're as black as these levels back here. Also the shadow, I wouldn't heavily encourage you to do shadow as a mask instead of just shadow catcher. I talk about this a lot, but the reason you do that is because like shadow in the real world inherently has the color properties of whatever it's being projected onto, you know. So this shadow feels just like a black layer slapped on top, versus in the real world it kind of be more green hue. And then also another aspect to think about is like there's a huge blue sky up here, and so that blue sky would be subtly lighting the shadow as well, so these shadows would have a little bit of a blue-green hue to it as well. And so just keep that in mind. That's more stuff you kind of pick up as you go with all of this stuff. But yeah, super nice shot as your first one. I think it works pretty well, and I can see a lot of potential here, so keep going, Isaac. I believe super cool. Thanks for sending that in. Matt, is Matt in the stream? I don't know if I've seen him. Matt is a goat in terms of doing all these streams and stuff. But super cool here, Matt. We have some geonodes, it looks like, putting this floor up. Super sick. This is a very high scope shot, honestly. I love that you're getting the reflections and stuff in. I think it's working pretty well. There is a little bit of sliding. I think that's the biggest thing that's hurting you, Matt, is the sliding of the camera track. It feels like she's on like a treadmill, which honestly, is she? Is this a full CG shot? It doesn't look like it. I don't think it is. But yeah, I think the camera tracking is just a little bit off because it looks like, you know, as she steps, there's a lot of sliding. Like, so we'll look at like this line right here. It should be like maybe like 1/3 into her foot. And then by the end, it's on the very back of her foot, you know, and her front hasn't moved, right? And so that's one of the big things. The reflection is really well done, so super good job there. Reflection looks sick. It helps kind of carry the connection point between the two. I think just the excuse me. Oh, the sickness is killing me, guys. Yeah, the connection point is a little bit too either high or low. It looks low. I think it's, again, hard to tell without doing my test in Blender, but it looks a little low. So I'd maybe raise your ground plane up and just make sure that it's sticking perfectly, because it's a great effect. I love it, and I think it would sell a lot more if the camera tracking was accurate. Yeah, I think only the ground is CG too. Yeah, super cool reflections. I'm trying to see. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen, I can't tell honestly, but it seems like some of these reflections, like I'm looking on this part of the CG, looks like some of those reflections aren't matching in the background. Like you have these super kind of white windows, and like the highlight is like right here, so that can match that window. But there's no like major highlight here, you know, matching that window, stuff like that. Bigger tail is like this little, you know, hole thing, whatever that is. There should be like a reflection that follows that on the ground, you know. So like, honestly, if I was doing this, I'd probably make one kind of plane in the background and then like a ground plane right here to catch reflections. And then as it goes, I'd maybe 3D model out like this little trash can looking thing, and then also this like large kind of structure right here. Just super subtly, like literally, since we're only using it for reflections, we just need it to be good enough. But just something there to move along with the reflections, I think would have helped a lot, because you're already doing an amazing job with the reflections here. But I would have just liked to have seen the same kind of reflections in the background as well. In terms of everything else, I think everything is feeling fine to me. I can't tell if this is the camera or what's going on, but there's like a lot of chromatic aberration, like her jacket. Her jacket's getting like thrown around all the time. The windows in the background have like a blue kind of chromatic aberration hue too and stuff like that. So if that's in your camera, that's fine. You can match it to your CGI. But if you're doing like compositing and stuff like that, it's maybe a little bit too much chromatic aberration. So again, I'd have to see. What is the Discord? It is in the description of this live stream. So if you guys want to go ahead and join. Can't stick around today. Thought I would hop on and say, hey, have a good stream though. Thanks, Abstract. So sad we're missing out on it. But thanks so much for joining. So yeah, the Discord, you can just check in the description of this live stream. But yeah, super cool effect, super cool. Yeah, I just think reflections in back here is what, and the, you know, the floor movement. Like honestly, if you would do anything for this shot, like just make the floor a little bit higher, I believe. And that would like sell this shot much more to me. So super nice work though. Rop 3. Let's see what we got here. Nice little Coke. A lot of physics. I love it. You said yes to all the physics. So real quick, is this isn't full CG? I don't think, no. Too good to be full CG. So it looks like just like why is it not playing? Yeah, so it looks like some of these cars and some of the trees and stuff and are not CG. It's not matching. Like there's some like weird anti-aliasing and stuff. Honestly, it looks like you didn't pre-multiply. Yeah, because like all this stuff is on the edges, you know, these black kind of things and stuff like that. That would be my guess. It's like all over the frame though. So yeah, that's hard to tell, but it looks like it's unpre-multing error. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, because like I can see each of your layers, you know, like this is a layer, the background's a layer, these presents are probably layers and stuff like that, and so like pre-multing will kill you. And so yeah, you just need to apply that alpha. Love the physics, everything is looking amazing there. I just man, wish the pre-multing thing. I even like that you have like on the truck like some like snow being kicked up and stuff like that, so super well done. It's just the kind of pre-mult issue that's going on. The snow's a little low poly. I think you used the snow add-on in Blender, right? Had that, so I maybe would have liked to have seen some more kind of snow things, you know, not because everything is super kind of high res, and then there's this like snow clumps that are like super low res for some reason. But yeah, super nice kind of thing with the truck. Yeah, which I'm kind of like wondering how you did it. There's something weird going on here with the truck in terms of like there's something like occluding it or something here, so I maybe check out to see what that is. Looks like a mask or some sort, or it's probably the pre-mult issue like I talked about. Some of these things are a little low poly, but you know, I can let that slide. You're having some, I mean, this is hard to achieve, but you're having some masking issues with some of the seam of the real footage and stuff over here with some of that on top. I think everything honestly is a little bit too soft as well. It's hard to tell because of all the pre-mult errors and stuff that are going on, but yeah, everything feels a little bit too soft. But other than that, you know, I feel like it's a pretty good shot. You got some nice kind of snow on top, you know, kind of that asset is pretty nice. It ties everything in together. Very nice. I think it's a little bit too white. Everything's a little bit too white in terms of like, this would be like heavy blizzard, right? If it's this foggy, this, you know, like there'd be a lot more snow on the ground, a lot more kind of violet, snow, all that stuff or whatever, to be this white, you know, like this, it never gets this white at daytime. So yeah, the tree behind is CG. So it looks like this tree in the background, and this tree are all CG. Another thing pointing that out that I noticed is that this is very what's the word? Defocused in the background versus like everything back here is super sharp. Like these buildings in the background are more sharp than this tree right here. And so that should obviously never be the case, you know, just because of focus and stuff like that. So I'd maybe check on some of those, why that's reading sharp, if it is defocus inside of Blender or 3D, or if it's you're doing in compositing, or if you're just rendering at a lower resolution than you should. But super nice physics. Like the physics were great. The idea of the commercial was great. I just would have liked to have seen more. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep calling it pre-mult because I think that's what it is, but the pre-mult is killing you here. Super nice though. Yeah, I think if you just work a little bit more with compositing, this would be a 10 out of 10 kind of shot to showcase. I uploaded something in the server. Sweet. Let's see. You want to make sure you guys are using, here, I'll pin this, or edit message. Please upload to here. So you guys want to make sure you upload to the Google Drive instead of just plopping them here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these guys just so we can get people to go ahead and upload to, you want to upload to the Google Drive. Sorry if that wasn't clear, but I'd love to see some of your guys' work. We might be able to get to some of the others later, since we're already like halfway through these. So just wait your turn. I want to cover some of these first before we move on to any new ones, even if we can today. I don't know yet. The beauty attack. I have seen this one on the Discord, so super nice to revisit this. Okay, so this shot super cool. I love the phone has the picture of her on it. She does blink, I think. Here, let's go back to that. Shout out to the actress. Yeah, she blinks right there, so a client would probably want me to remove the blink. But you know, that's nitpicking. I already kind of went over this in the Discord, but I'll go over this again. It feels like a lot of these objects are too light, you know, like the you can see the blackness of her like pants and her hair and stuff like that. Should match like some of the blackness of this stuff versus like this stuff is reading very gray right now. Also, it feels like there's no like ambient occlusion around her at all. You know, like perfect example is like these car keys, right? These car keys are physically close to this bag, but it feels like in CG there's nothing over here, right? And so subconsciously there'd be like a little bit of like shadowing and ambient occlusion on this side. Sorry if you guys hear my dog, she's freaking out. Dang. Angel. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, and I sent a whole Discord message, so I'm pretty sure you haven't changed it. Maybe you have changed it, but I feel like my notes are still the same. Here, I'm gonna go check on my dog real quick. She is yelling up a storm over there. For some reason my dog is like freaking petrified of going outside now. She always like barks but no bite. Okay, so yeah, so I think those are the two main things I'd say about this shot, but super cool shot nonetheless. Good camera tracking, good kind of framing and stuff like that. The only other thing I want to say, I feel like the lighting could be a little bit different, a little bit more top lit, because we have this chandelier right here, and so you can see it on her face, you know, like this side of her is a little bit more in shadow versus like the top of her head, and kind of her right cheek is a little bit more in light. And so I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that versus like there looks like there's some like key light from the left, or sorry, the right, whereas I don't see anything over here physically. And so personally I would make this chandelier be a little bit more lit from that. So super cool shot though. Empire is here, VFX HQ. From Star Wars fan. What did that say? Inspired by Blender tutorial. The Empire is here. Oh, there we go. I feel like maybe I had reviewed this. Have I feel like I have reviewed this live before. Nice. Jupiter image, NASA. Nice that you're shouting out NASA. Let's quickly break this down. This is from one of my courses, by the way, guys. So super amazing work. Quick plug for the course if you want to check it out. It's in the link in the description. This course is very fun because we tackled this one shot, which is a little bit more advanced than some of my other courses. I do have some more courses in the works, by the way, guys. So make sure to get ready for some of those. First thing I can tell about this, you know, good job following everything. I love the animations, everything like that. You're adding some bloom to it. I'm not a huge fan of this bloom. It looks very fake. This is a type of bloom that's like very indicative of kind of like beginner compositors, because they don't know what to look out for. This type of bloom is very noticeable by like people in the industry that you know, you're just wanting to, you know, apply bloom for the sake of applying bloom. And so I maybe would I'd axe the bloom if I'm being honest with you. I think back here it's super cool. So if you're trying to do bloom just to add to the engine, then I would maybe consider finding out a way to like do some masking and stuff to only isolate the engines if you do want that effect. And even then, you're probably better to just go ahead and do some masks and stuff around there. And so yeah, that's the biggest thing I would say for that. The grain looks a little bit too much, like I'm seeing on when the jet kind of turns around and stuff like that. And so in the course and stuff, we want to make sure that our grain matches. And so this is a little bit too much grain. You can tell this has a lot of grain versus like stuff down here does not have grain and stuff. So I'd maybe look out for that. Let's see what else. Yeah, super cool. Other than that, yeah, I don't love the color grade you have. It's like a super harsh vignette. And this is why I say I think we've seen this shot before, because I feel like I've given these exact same notes, unless this is a brand new shot. But I don't know who posted this. I found your YouTube by this course. You should make more like this. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that, Karen. Well, that's awesome. Greetings from Mexico. Welcome, welcome. Your sins of the past came back. Nice. Yeah, so super cool. Kind of same notes I had as last time. I love the additions you made to the shot that were in the course, like the planet super well composited in. This is a little bit too atmospheric. I think I told last time on my last set of notes, too atmospheric. It needs to be a little less blue huey. This looks like it's freaking like a million miles away, which if it is, that's the right way to do it. But if it's not, which I don't think it is, then it looks fake. And so that's what I would say. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Just bloom, big thing. Don't over bloom your shot, guys. Super cool. Finale AE. Gold standard case in. Is this an actual advertisement? Cool. So off the bat, there's some weird things going on up here. Let's see what that is. Yeah, so there's like some halo happening. I don't know, because it kind of turns off. Yeah, I don't know what that would be, because it kind of turns off right here, you know? So I double checked to see what that is, because it does look like an issue. Okay, it's on the Google. Quality is not the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll see if we can get to it today, but if not, just hop on the Discord and I'll mention it in the announcements channel. It'll probably be within the next week or so when we do the next one. So for this, the blacks are maybe a little bit too black. It's hard to tell exactly. It looks like we have some very black stuff over here, so it could work, right? So I think that's fine. Let's see. Sun direction is largely okay. My biggest thing with the shot is the ground plane is not set up correctly. You know, like it feels like the ground is kind of like tilted versus of where it should be, right? And so that's why we're having like the shadow go upwards, you know, towards this building and stuff like that. So that's just about rotating the ground plane. Ground plane, as I teach, is the most important thing. And so like in all my camera tracking tutorials, we kind of go over how to set up the ground plane correctly. So that's one of the biggest things. We're having some issues with the shadow catcher back here kind of falling off into nothingness, and that's just to do with how big the shadow catcher is. So that makes sense. I'm not getting a lot of kind of like reflections in the scene, so I'd maybe tackle that next to get like some of the reflections of the road up onto the bottle, especially because this bottle looks like it's a little bit reflective, as you can see up on these things. So yeah, I'd maybe just think about like adding some reflections and stuff up on the bottle. Like some of these yellow bits should be highlighting a little bit on this bottle right here. The final thing is just the shadow just doesn't match at all. You can see these shadows, what I was trying to tell earlier, have some blue hue onto them. And so there should be a subtle blue hue onto this. This is way too black. You need to be using shadows as a mask versus just applying it as a layer. And that's to match as much as possible to that. And so those are the biggest things there. I think you kind of know the rest. But very good shot in terms of the idea of it. I think the execution could use a little work, but the animation is really good. I like how it kind of like spins around a little bit once it lands. So that's very good. And yeah, I think he just got a little bit more work to do. Biggest thing, make sure that ground plane is accurate. Clients and the audience will know that on the first watch. And so anything that the audience will see on the first watch, you want to eliminate exactly. So super cool. IP head can V2. Nice. Dang. I see some masking issues, but knowing how difficult it'd be, did you animate the person to that? That's insane. Yeah, this is just a high scope level of a shot in order to do that. So yeah, it's hard for me to say how I would go about this, other than just maybe what I would do is I try to do like 2 passes, one pass for all the cans that are going to be in front of him, and then another pass for all the cans that are going to be behind him. And then that way, what you can do inside of compositing, you can actually rotoscope him out, right? And so you wouldn't need to have any of the, like, you would still need this, right, in CG to do all the collisions and stuff like that, but you wouldn't need to actually render it out with that, right? So then you have in compositing the flexibility to do a rotoscope, and so then the back layer is what you're applying the rotoscope to, and the front layer you're not, and so you're not running into these masking issues. That's where I would start, especially for like shots like this. You can get lost, like you can get away with a lot of stuff just due to the quantity of stuff. Everybody's not going to go frame by frame to nitpick all the collisions and stuff like that. So yeah, that looks sick. Let's see, the light direction I believe is a little off. See, again, it's hard to tell. It might be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's fine. The depth of field is a little too harsh back here at the very end. Here, I'll freeze frame it. Yeah, so like, look how much depth of field is back here versus like what is actually in the footage. It seems like these bottles are as defocused as like some of the trees back here, and so yeah, you kind of don't want that. These should be a little bit sharper. In terms of the shadow is way too dark in my opinion. I think it needs to be a little bit more blue and subtle, like this shadow down here. Again, that's very hard unless you do it as a mask instead of a layer. Yeah, the depth of field is reading like DSLR versus like iPhone. You know, iPhone doesn't have like crazy bokeh, and so I think that's the mismatch I'm getting from this shot. Love the physics. The physics are great. A little kind of can bonk at the beginning. Super fun. Nice. But yeah, no, those are my big things and stuff. Having a lot of masking issues. Again, I would try to go to the approach of rotoscoping, even though, again, it's a very tough shot. Just from a concept. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so like you have the product right here, so you're doing a pretty good job matching them, in my opinion. You know, like the levels feel accurate and all that stuff. The gain might be a little bit too much. That's the highlight values. So I'd maybe turn the whites down a tiny bit. But other than that, I think everything else is fine. Super cool. Create voice chat rooms in Discord, please. I had them before. Nobody really used them, so I might add them back. Maybe I'll make like a poll on Discord and see if we want them back. I'm 12 years old, learning visual effects from videos and really helping make cool things. Thanks for everything. Of course. Welcome to the VFX world. And at 12, you're going to be killing it by the time you're in the industry. It's super nice work. Oh man, my throat's drying up. Troglodyte or trilobite feeding. The trilobite. This looks sick. Oh, thanks Diva for subbing. This is wild. What in the world? This is a really cool shot. Super well executed. It looks like you do have like some CG kind of foliage and stuff here, which does a ton, guys. Like, I can't stress this enough. Any kind of fake stuff that you can add that looks ingrained to the shot is going to save you so much work, because exactly this, right? Because like this, I believe it's CG. I'm pretty like 99% sure it's CG. Maybe it's not. No, it's CG. But this stuff hides like oh man, it's just so well thought out. Now, the animation, super cool, super freaky. Yeah, super kind of makes you unsettled, which hopefully is the point. Super nice compositing. I think the only thing, this is hard to say, and I think it is, it might be a little bit soft for me. I can't tell. Maybe just a hair, like literally like just a couple. Yeah, because I'm watching on my 4K monitor, and I know this is 1080p, but yes, it's looking a little soft here and here. So I'd maybe like to see a little bit less defocus. There are a little bit of denoising, like I see his foot right there. A little bit of denoising artifacts. I still think it's fine. Lighting is working really well to me. Even like got some lighting kind of on the background here, and the shadows are working pretty well. I think let's go to like this frame. I think maybe I would have liked to have seen a little bit more blue into some of these shadows back here to match somewhat more closely to this. I think you're doing a really good job as is right now, but yeah, maybe just a little, like tiny bit more saturated blue look. The hair, it's great. It's super kind of like interesting shot. I hate this creature though. This if I saw this in real life, bro, I'd be done. I'd be done for. I think the CG is sliding ever so slightly. Again, this is where I'd maybe throw a stabilize on it to double check, but yeah, it's looking like it, like some of this stuff is sliding ever so slightly. This would be a tough shot just because of oh, excuse me guys, how not flat it is over here. Also what I appreciate is you're doing a really good job of like matching the shadows and everything. So like this section of the field is in shadow versus this section is in like the sun. So you're doing a good job matching those things. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I think really good job. I can tell you're more experienced in VFX. So I don't have much to say other than some of the, I think the blacks can maybe be a little bit darker. Yeah, because I think you're matching to the blacks and stuff back here. And so this is another thing, like usually we'll try to match the blackest part of the image to the blackest, you know, part of the CGI. Stuff like that. That is the case. Unless it's like a scene like this where all the blackest blacks are in the background, right? Because then you have like some atmospheric haze that gets into the way of that stuff or whatever. And so I think that's kind of what's throwing me off a little bit here is like, I'm sure you applied the black point to like some of these blacks back here versus I think the black point should have been like some of this stuff down here, you know, like this area, maybe something over here or whatever, just because then it's in the same Z depth away from camera. So will you also upgrade your CPU? No, my CPU is pretty good. I think my CPU is good for a couple generations. I do everything on my GPU anyway, and so CPU would just be kind of doing the day-to-day task. And my, like, it's a 20 core CPU, and so I don't see it like being needed to upgrade for a little bit. Do you need a good GPU for Nuke, or is it mostly CPU? Certain nodes are very GPU dependent, but I want to say mostly CPU. Don't quote me on that. I don't know how much Nuke uses GPU over CPU, but both are nice. Sweet. 3D CGI. Let's check it. Oh, also real quickly, I saw this. We have a blend file from that guy or gal. I am not executing that. Sweet, so we get some model to see some of the animation and stuff like that. Super sick. Yeah, this is freaky, man. Which is great. Super cool. Awesome. Anyway, let's go to 3D CGI. Cool little screen effect. I think the obvious thing that you know that I'm going to say is the camera tracking. Camera tracking's off. This scene would be a tripod camera track, and so usually those are a little bit tougher. But yeah, you can just see it's off a little bit. And if you struggle with that, you could have stabilized it. I think if you stabilize this footage, it might have helped a little bit. Camera tracking. Let's see. I love the graphics and stuff on the screen. I think the screen is really well done. Maybe like to see a little bit more defocused. It feels like these are a little bit out of focus versus like perfectly sharp, you know. But the graphics are great. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the only thing I would say. Just add some grain to it. I can't tell if there's grain or anything on it, but just match the grain, match the defocus, and the camera tracking. And that's pretty much it. I mean, other than all of that, I think that's all I'd say. Very nice. Super cool. And I just released my tripod camera tracking tutorial of how I do it with SynthEyes. You can, of course, do it in Blender, but it's a little bit more finicky. Product animation. Classic building reveal. Old school Jacob Toots. So you're doing one thing that we want to try to avoid. I see that you have like some movement of some of these buildings and they're going down into the thing. That's fine, but you're not you're not applying the textures, so it just feels like a mask moving down versus like the actual building part coming and moving down, right? So like yeah, you can see it over here. But yeah, you want to it might be a holdout, or it might be like a projection or something or whatever. I think it's much cooler if it's like actually a texture baked into it and physically coming and moving down and stuff. So I'd maybe try to do that. The building is not perfectly like matched direction wise. You can see the line is a little bit mismatched here, and then at the very bottom you can see it's a little crooked there as well. So maybe just doing a little bit more there. The animation, I think, it's fine. It just kind of comes out and stuff like that. A client would want you to maybe mess around with that a little bit more to make it a little bit more smooth and tasteful. But looks fine as is. The excuse me, the soap is looking kind of cool. Got some like kind of roughness texture onto it. Now, depending on the client, I always ask them, do you want it pristine, or do you want it like realistic with like a little bit of scratches, stuff like that? Typically what they say is add a little bit of that stuff, but like literally so unnoticeable that, you know, because they obviously don't want scratches and stuff on their product, you know. But I always find adding a little bit does help the sell of, hey, this is actually a real product. Now this is a photo, which makes it much more interesting of why you didn't like get the exact thing. So, you know, I mean, I think it's a fine shot. I think you have a lot of work to do in terms of like matching the building and stuff like that. I think you're just kind of eyeballing it, which is never a good thing to do. You always kind of want to do it exact for stuff like this, especially for this feels more like previs versus like actual execution stuff. So just keep that in mind. No shadows, anything like that. No reflections that I can tell. I think just a reflection of the HUI maybe. Yeah, and so maybe add that in. Is there a little bit of clipping with this bottle here too? Let's see at the very end. Yeah, so a little clipping down here at the very end where that bottle. Other than that, super simple animation. You know, it I think you could benefit from learning some lighting setups, some actual positioning of the 3D scene to make it lined up and not just eyeballing it would be preferable. But other than that, I dig it. So super sick shot. Thanks for sending that in. Can you please do a couple of tutorials on Synthesize? I bought it a while back and pretty much never use it because it's so confusing compared to Blender. I have a couple of tutorials on Synthesize, one of traditional camera tracking and then one of tripod camera tracking. So you can definitely go check those out on my channel. Sorry for large file size. Oh, looks like a whole movie. I think I have seen this one on the Blender, the nuke one. Super cool. I remember you saying you were doing this, the explosions and stuff inside of Blender. I maybe try to steer you clear of that. Don't get me wrong, the explosion sim is pretty okay. The texturing though is where I think it falls a little flat. And again, that's just due to Blender not being a great pyro simulation tool. Imogen would give you 10 times as better results in this for much less time spent on it and also much less hair pulling and stuff. So it doesn't look bad for Blender standards, but for professional explosion sim standards, I think you're better off just using another program personally. Yeah, a lot of bloom, a lot of like kind of, again, it's very tasteful. And down to your personal preference and stuff like that, but this is a little bit too much bloom for me, a little bit too much overexposure, stuff like that. Like I can't tell if this is the same explosion, but like for some reason that shot looks better. This shot looks better than like some of the other ones, like this one and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's the same one or if they're different, but I like the compositing you're doing of like adding grain and stuff into it. I think it's super cool. Gives it kind of like an old-timey effect and stuff. Really helps hide stuff too. VFX artists love grain. Welcome, Hack. Welcome to the stream. Albert is ow, never mind. But yeah, I mean, their explosions, Embergen, give you 10 times better results than this. So it's hard for me to say anything just because nobody does explosions in Blender. So yeah, I think it's this is probably the best result you can get out of Blender, so I will say that. But yeah, very nice. Imogen, if you want to take a step up. So let's go ahead. You know what? I'll get to some of these as well. Dang, we have a decent amount. I'm gonna kind of rapid fire through these guys because my mouth is drying the heck up. You guys are making me more sick every single day. Way to go. So while that's zipping, how is everybody doing? Indeed, my explosion is also Imogen. Interesting. So then if this is Imogen, wait a minute. This is not making sense because Imogen, yeah, this is something weird then. I think you want to go back and take a look at your shading of Imogen. Because I've done like Imogen shots before. Here, let's see if I can, excuse me, guy. Fine over here. They're actually, I think they're easier over here. This is my company website I'm working on. It's not, it's public, but it's like not, I'm like not pushing it at all or anything like that. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. Oh, you did not make this. You baited me. I mean my file. Gotcha. Then yeah, that makes sense. But like this explosion, this is from Imogen. You know, that explosion right there. That's from Imogen. Also, this is one of the old files or whatever. Like, let's break this shot down for me. Way too much motion blur, Jacob. What are you doing? Look at all this stuff. There's no motion blur down there. The mask is a little bit off right here. This whole overexposed thing. Come on, Jacob. What are you doing? Yeah, it's just funny kind of looking back at your old work and stuff like that. I gotta update this. But I like the layout of this page and stuff like that. Post line. Get ready, guys. Post line is going to be coming public here soon. And you guys are going to be tired of hearing about post line. It's my actual job. I'm an Embergen master is in the Jenga server. Nice. Yeah, I used Embergen for the particle when it was in beta, the particle system and stuff, to make like some portals and stuff. That was my biggest kind of Embergen thing I did. I love Embergen. It's great. So we're gonna be looking at some final ones here. Again, we're gonna try to do some rapid fire because there are a lot of them here. Oh, a lot of stuff going on here. Super sick. Gotta love physics. Why'd it do that? Yeah, so good masking over here. Love the little physics of the kind of bubbles hitting up there. Even masking up here, so good job there. And the light, very good attention to detail. That's being pulled off pretty good. Oh man, dang, this is nice. Is this stuff CG? Yeah, I think this stuff is CG. Yeah, if that's CG, really well done, very well thought out. There's some weird streaks here I'm not a fan of. I can't tell what that is. Might be compression. Yeah, I can't tell, so I'd maybe look to see what that is. Other than that, it's pretty good shot. I mean, it's nitpicking a little bit. There's like some reflections and stuff here, and so of course with these bottles kind of being here and stuff, usually what I try to do is just do a kind of light luminance key, and try to get those instead of hinted towards like some of this light back here, like push at the hue of this a little bit towards green is what I would do. Jamie, welcome to the stream. First time catching a stream. Welcome. How nice of you to join. I think Production Crate has a few free Imogen files and Action VFX as well. Yeah. I actually, that shot that I just showed was with their free explosion assets and stuff. Sweet. So other than that, I think it's a very well done shot. Yeah, I'm trying to think like literally anything I would say. I do see some like kind of lines of like your color. I'm guessing that's color. There's like some weird lines right here in the back, because I'm assuming you blued up the sky, be my guess. And I can also tell you some lines here and stuff, so just try to fix that if you can, you know, just make it not as noticeable. I'm not a colorist, so I can't give any feedback there, but yeah, super nice. You'll like this. You can upload a show reel, Jamie. We're not taking any more for this stream, but if you upload to the Rating Your Visual Effects 5, we'll go ahead and do that next stream. And if you want to join the Discord, because I'll post in the announcement section like when I'm gonna do these streams and stuff like that. So super nice shot here though, really nice. Don't have much to say. It's a well-rounded shot. Okay, we got some Nokias stuff flowing out. Super cool. Whoa. How'd you get this effect? It's kind of trippy. Super cool. So the only thing I think I'd like to see, I don't know if this is denoising or noise or grain. It looks maybe like grain, so it might be fine, but yeah, it's a little bit too noticeable, so I'd maybe make that less, because I'm not noticing anywhere in the frame other than like right here where it's like super noisy. So yeah, I try to like get that down a little bit. It matches decently, I think. The snake one, I could go either way on it. It's stylistic, but I think it's a little bit janky, personally. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty good. Like, I can't tell where the CG starts and ends, right? So, you know, like, I'm guessing this whole thing is CG, like this side of it is CG as well. So if that's the case, very well done. Not many notes other than that, I think. I think the lighting matches. Got some emission here, which emission I could maybe do without, just because it makes everything so white and so overexposed, you know? So it inherently feels CG, but I think it feels all right. Like other shots, it bothers me way more than this, you know? So I think this is fine. Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all. Yeah, just maybe get rid of some of the grain. I don't know if I love the grain that much. Especially because grain on H.264 compression for phones is going to lead to a lot more artifacts. And so sometimes, like, I'll even get rid of grain for a shot if it's going to be on iPhone. Oh, CG nerf. This is yours? Yeah, you added grain. Did you add grain to the entire shot? Question. Snake is pixelated, rendered separately in Eevee and the rest in cycles. Yeah, the snake is cool. And I get what you're going for. It just feels... It doesn't feel in style, it feels like an error, you know what I mean? And we run into this all the time in advertising and stuff like that. Excuse me. And so I'd maybe experiment around with a little bit more styles, you know? Because I think from like a client perspective, this would look more like an error versus like it's supposed to be a stylized edit, you know? And so again, I run into that all the time of if a person wants a stylized look or whatever, I have to be like, okay, just so you know, like if it's a stylized look in a, you know, photo real world, it's going to look a little off to you and stuff like that. And so, excuse me, but very nice work otherwise. I like Snake. The low frame rate is cool. I do like the low frame rate. It matches the aesthetic of Snake. I think the thing that's killing me, I do like the pixelated look. I just hate the anti-aliasing look, you know? So if you could figure out how to get better anti-aliasing and keep the pixelated look, I'd almost think it would be the best of both worlds. So, super nice. Well executed shot. Love the design of it, eating all the apps and stuff. Super cool. Awesome. Thanks for sending that in. Beach project. Gotta love vaping. Okay. So I like that you have some indentation in the sand. That's kind of cool. It helps integrate the shot, so I love that. Also, you're getting some actual palm leaves on the thing, which is super cool. It helps sell on the shot even more. In terms of light direction, I think light direction's fine for me. The shadow is a little soft for me. I would have liked to have seen a little bit sharper of a shadow. The defocus is a little bit soft as well, I think. Like the edge feels a little soft to me throughout the shot. And I also think you're doing a color grade to the thing because some of these leaves have like a white halo around them. So you kind of want to be careful about that. Yeah, especially when you're far away, you can notice a lot of haloing and stuff. It also looks like you did some cloud, cloud replacement and stuff. These clouds are very subjective, but I'm not a huge fan. If you're gonna do cloud replacement and addition and stuff like that, I'd maybe do it all or none. You know, like these clouds are just kind of boring, you know, with the lack of a better term. Other than that, the main focus of the shot I think is great. I love the sand connection down here. I think that's sells in the connection super well. And other than that, yeah, pretty nice. I would just make sure you're matching the grain of the rest of the shot, especially with such a solid product like this, solid color product. Grain is gonna help sell the realism a lot more than anything, and so just matching that, I think super cool. Shadow maybe too dark, but the vibe is cool. Yeah, the shadow's a little bit too dark. It should be a little bit more blue, right? because of the sky hitting it and stuff. And so I think the larger thing of the shadow for me is just how blurry it looks, how just fake and blurry it looks. I'd maybe go back to that and see. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. Very cool kind of idea for it to be in the sand. Got a work in progress shot. Oh, cool explosion. Is this fully CG? No, this can't be fully CG. Dang, very cool. Got some low quality kind of speculars. I'm guessing you rendered this at a lower sample count since it's work in progress. Super cool though how it wraps around the building. So really good job there. And even some of these, I'm assuming these are just fully CG buildings thrown in there, which amazing touch if they are. Just catching some of the light and stuff over here to sell in the shot. Super nice. My only thing is just the resolution of it. It feels very kind of soft and stuff. Again, this is work in progress, so I'm assuming that's going to be ironed out. But yeah, super soft. Specular bits are probably just due to low sample count and stuff like that. But I think once they're in there, it's pretty nice. In terms of, there's like some weird geometry in the middle. Let's see. So yeah, some of this stuff, it might just be part of the like actual footage though. So that one's hard to tell. Like this, it just feels like fake geometry, but that's nitpicking. Yeah, the smoke coming around the building is super cool. Even adding some reflections and stuff over here, really well done. It's probably like with a luminance key or something like that. There is like a weird geometry thing like right here, I think, unless that's footage. Yeah, it looks like it's not footage, so I'd maybe check what that is, see what that is right there. Yeah, I think it's really well done shot. Yeah, and I'd be curious to see when you actually fully render it out with all the sample counts, stuff like that, how realistic you can make it. Super cool. Have another from the same person. We got a super bloody mech guy. Terminator. Are you using what's the node inside a nuke? Is it vector, smart vector? Using probably smart vector. Here I would have liked to see the blood a little bit more combined with everything, you know, like blood is never kind of this red. And then also like it'd be a different, like it feels just like a layer slapped on top of it versus like it'd be a different color on his skin versus like on his jacket, right? Like it'd be a little bit more yellow and like darker on the jacket, and then in the black area you'd almost like not see it at all and stuff like that. So that's where we could get more into it. So star or welcome, thank you for subbing. But yeah, so that is what I'd maybe think about. Also I found like this, I did a some gore horror feature film that I was a part of. What I ended up doing was doing this and then duplicating this layer and doing a subtle shadow underneath. And it's not really a shadow, more like a darkening area kind of surrounding it or whatever. And it really sold. It really helps. AE with lockdown, interesting. This is a decent result with After Effects then, in terms of the mesh warp. Nuke has a thing called smart vector that is basically the same type of effect like this, but way better probably. I've never used lockdown, so the drone shot with 3D place model VDB explosion, super sick. But yeah, other than that, the tracking of the face is pretty good. I think this is a pretty good shot in terms of like he's not like tilting his head and stuff, so you can get away with this probably just being a 2D-ish track. I think there's a little bit of like warping going on there that sells. So this one's really well done. Again, I'd still like to see a little bit more compositing work in terms of like this blood is super saturated, so I'd get rid of that a little bit. And then doing like a little bit of ambient occlusion around the CG I think would help a ton. You know, so like literally like I was just saying, like add the same element underneath of that element, maybe feather it a little bit, and then use it as a mask to just decrease like the gamma, for instance, or something. That would be one option to kind of help blend it into the person a little bit. 2D, but optimal shot indeed. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's it's there. There are a few kind of weird tweaks and stuff I see every now and again, and I guess that's to do with lockdown, or whatever that is. These would be things like in Nuke we would try to get rid of in Smart Vector. So super cool shot. Oh, the only other thing I was gonna say is the metal. I don't know how you're doing it, but we're getting like some metal actually changing, and so I appreciate that. The lighting might be a little tiny bit off or whatever, but it's so hard to do that because it's such a flat shot, right? The lighting is so flat because it's an arena. So other than that, I think it's pretty good. SD CGI. Do this one. It's like a little SD card. Oh, that's really cool, actually. It's like a little SD card PC. Man, Reddit would love this shot. But yeah, no, really well done. Object tracking on point. Finger mask looks like it could be eroded in a tiny bit. It looks like a black little line right there, so I'd maybe look at that. Object tracking is sticking perfectly to me. Not a huge fan of how much bloom you're adding to the shot. Seems like there is a lot of kind of like bloom, and I'm not really seeing it anywhere else on the shot. So I'd maybe try to kill that if you can. I know they're glowing LEDs, but like even glowing LEDs aren't going to have that much bloom, especially with how tiny they are physically. Again, those are a little bit nitpicks, but also some like things that you want to watch out for, because a client would see something like that and question. Other than that, I literally have no other things about the shot. Make sure your grain's matching, compositing is matching perfectly. Very nice shot. Like a weird little thing here. I don't know what that could be. Like a weird box. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So double check that. Other than that, I think it's a great shot. It's me again. Nice. You love your tracking. Your tracking is on point. What do you use to do your object tracking? Yeah, I want to know about your object tracking. Also, charge your mouse. What are you doing? Calling you out. But yeah, super nice. Yeah, just the glow. Just it's up to personal taste. But just know glow is like one of the big detractors from, like, you know, say you're a visual effects exec, right? And you're going through like thousands of applications, you know, per day or whatever. You see a shot like this and you're automatic, just because you gotta like pump stuff out super fast, is like you see a shot like this and you're like, okay, maybe this guy, he looks pretty good in terms of his CG skills, but his comp skills might be a little bit on the beginner end of the spectrum, purely just based on that bloom. And it doesn't matter if you are a beginner at compositing or not. They're just gonna assume that because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of the things you gotta watch out for. Is GeoTracker, but switch to PF Track. Best decision, I say. Yeah, I gotta check out PF Track. But I use Synthesize, and so I'd be curious to see their geometry tracking workflow. Would be easy with April tag Synthesize. Glow saves or kills shot. If glow saves your shot, then you know your CGI is bad. That, I know that's a controversial statement to say, but glow, in my opinion, can only match shots, right? So if you have a shot that has like a pro miss filter or like something like that on it or whatever, that's literally the only time that I find glow on CG actually like works. Every other time I see it, including this case, I think it'd be better without it. That's a me personally thing, and glow, just so you know, is like one of the more like people fight about it in the industry and stuff like that, but personally, glow signifies a very kind of beginner level understanding of how light hits like a camera and stuff like that. So just watch out for it is what I would say. Oh, this shot was 1 year. I want you to redo this shot and see if you can do it better. See if you can do it super. Use After Effects, but I switched to Fusion like 7 months ago. Not Fusion, what are you doing? Gotta use Nuke. And if not, Nuke non-commercial, please. Synthesize for the win. I'm thinking from FX artist perspective, haha, CG explosions look awful before glow. Yeah, yes and no. If you're talking about in the world of visual effects, even in the real world, you'll rarely have like crazy glow. Real explosion. I might be eating my words here. Let's see. So like a shot like this or whatever, even this one doesn't have like a lot of quote unquote glow, right? Like I'm not noticing a lot of like kind of bloom and stuff around these objects. Let's see like a shot like this, like even this one, look, there's like zero, I can't zoom in. There's like zero bloom. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like bloom is a camera, a lens effect, right? It's a lens effect. If your lens has a little bit, like if it's not clean or something, that's where like bloom comes from. It's not inherently in the real world. What you're thinking of is emission. Emission is different than glow. Like, yes, this emission is emitting onto the other objects and stuff like that, but faking it with glow and compositing is like a last ditch resort. And even then, like a very, very like, you know, you don't want to add a lot. Like if I notice glow in a shot like this or whatever, okay, here's a good rule of thumb I've kind of lived by. There's a course I followed way back in the day when I was learning compositing inside of Nuke. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's by Rebel Way. Where is it? Yeah, advanced compositing. This video is great if you kind of already know a little bit about Nuke and stuff and want to take it to the next level. In this one, the guy talks about how in his studio they have a thing about glow. You always set the glow to what you think that you want it to match the scene, and then you divide that number by 2. That's what I lived by forever now. And so like even in my own thing, I'll like go and like figure out what number that I kind of like the glow to where it's not too much but also kind of matches the shot. Again, compositing always about matching, guys. And then what I do is divide that number by 2, because usually our brains are so bad at that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my kind of workflow for glow. And so I strongly suggest you guys like critically like develop your eye for glow, because glow should not be a crux. It should be a tool to match, right? That's kind of what all the compositing is. It's a tool to match, not the crux of the shot. So hell yeah, I gotta redo this shot. Of course you do it and post it in the Discord. I want to see it. Rebel Way is truly awesome. Yeah, I love Rebel Way. Their courses and stuff are great. Sweet. And so that's pretty much going to do it. Please, I need help on how to get good footage for VFX. I typically just go to Pexels and just dig around. Pexels is great. Pixabay, I don't have as much as looking. But there are plenty of free kind of websites out there and stuff like that. And so it's just about digging around and stuff. Great stream, man. I gotta head out, but look forward to checking out your Synthesize tutorials later tonight. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks so much, Albert, for checking on in. Have an amazing night, and let me know what you think about those Synthesize vids. Thanks for review. Also, Action VFX practice library. Yeah, those are pretty good as well. They're overdone at this point, you know. But they're good starter things, I would say. I'm actually looking to put together like a repository of like free visual effects practice stuff. So that might be coming in the future, like to where people can use that footage, you know, models, you know, stuff like that. We'll see. That'll be a long-term goal for mine, to actually get a good camera and start filming my own stuff for people to use for free to practice, you know, because I think that's a very necessary thing for beginners. Fortunately, I don't have access to a good camera yet, but that might change someday. We'll see. Anyways, everybody, thanks so much for watching. I had a ton of fun, like always. Again, if you want to do our next week's rating your visual effects stream, drop it into the Google Drive right there. I'll make sure that we don't do any duplicates next week. But it was super fun. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good one. And again, join our Discord. We got unusual join activity detected. Amazing. I always love when we get those things. It just means that everybody is jumping onto the Discord, and so that's really great. We got a lot of the people today, 320. We just hit 300 the other day, and so it's super nice to see all you guys joining. Super great. But thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video live stream.